guys. Good evening. Good evening, good evening, good evening. Happy weekend to us all. Happy weekend, happy weekend. Long time no live section. It's just one Saturday. It's just last Saturday that we did not have a live section. Before people will start saying, long time no live section, just the way I have said it. So good evening, everyone. Happy weekend. Happy last Saturday in the month of March. I hope we've been able to march forward in our project for this month. Okay, one second. Okay, so I am actually 2 minutes behind time, and I sincerely apologize for coming a little bit 2 minutes behind time. That's about 120 seconds behind time. I just had to do some wifely duties in the kitchen. Okay guys, good evening. Welcome to live section on Law Talk series. Welcome to our IG live section on the Law Talk series. Okay, somebody was even asking me which day that this Law Talk series, are you not going to hype it, take it to the next level? Don't worry, there's something cooking, there's something coming up. Okay, so my name is Precious Toju. I am fondly referred to as the Structure Lady. I am a business and real estate lawyer. Basically what I do is to help startups, entrepreneurs, companies and investors avoid and solve costly legal mistakes in the business and real estate transactions. Okay, so and over the years I've been able to help over 100 people to do that. So welcome to Law Talk series, where we share tips, hints and legal insights on different aspects of the law, particularly law, business and real estate. And tonight we have a very wonderful guest, a very interesting, wonderful, delightful person. She's already online. She's already online. She's actually practically called me to say, you're not live. So those are the kind of people that will always keep you on your toes. Okay, so tonight we'll be discussing about property issues, how to resolve real estate issues or disputes using mediation mechanism. And tonight's topic, I feel everybody should be online tonight. Everybody should just be here, because most times, or a lot of time, people have real estate issues. Practically today I was at 2 meetings and I was supposed to go for the third one for real estate issue as well. So almost on daily basis, people always have real estate issues, bad sales, double sales, triple sales, sales that you sell and they are having documentation issues and all of that. So issues will always come up in every aspect of life, and real estate is not exempted. Real estate is not exempted. But tonight we're going to be discussing how we can use mediation to solve real estate issues without having to resort to litigation. That is, without having to resort to going to court, either taking the buyer, the seller, the developer to court, or even the marketer, the real estate agent. Because the truth be told, in our typical judicial system, we all know that getting judgment in time, judicial system is a little bit slow. We hope for it to improve over the years, and well, we could say that it's actually improving. But the truth of the matter is that there are better ways to go about certain things. There are cheaper, more efficient, proactive ways to go about things. And if at the long run and this doesn't seem to work out, we could actually now think of litigation, that is suing the person to court. But it is very important that we explore, or disputants try to explore different alternative dispute resolution avenue or windows to see how they can amicably resolve the issues without having to tear each other's throats or be at each other's throats in the courtroom. So that's basically what we're going to discuss. Now we need to understand that mediation, which we're going to discuss tonight, the mediation expert, chartered mediator that is coming, will be teaching us, educating us on what mediation is all about. But we need to understand that mediation is not limited to real estate, but we have seen how we can leverage on the mechanism of mediation to resolve real estate issues. Okay, so our guest tonight is Natalia Odidika Ezezobo. When she come online today, she will kill me because I have finished that name. So you just take me the way I am. So she is an attorney mediator with about 15 years experience, whose professional expertise transits the legal strata. Her area of expertise include dispute resolution using ADR mechanism, and ADR simply means alternative dispute resolution. Okay, so with particular focus on mediation and mediation advocacy. Now, tenancy matters, debt recovery, family and probate matters, company law, and property management is what she deals with when it comes to mediation. You can see why she is the best guest we would have had for this topic. So, Mrs. Natalia holds a law degree from the University of Benin, a master's degree in public and international affairs from the University of Lagos, and an advanced diploma certificate in Catechetical Studies from St. Augustine College. She is a member of the panel of neutrals of the Lagos Multi-Door Courthouse, where she has settled over 70 cases. Please underline, it's not easy to be a mediation judge. Over 70 cases spanning landlord and tenant, debt recovery, contract disputes, among others. She's also a certified online dispute resolution. So we have quite a lot to discuss tonight. So it's not just that oh, the mediation thing, we just have to go to court. As she is a certified online mediator, so you can actually sit in the comfort of your room, your office, wherever you are, your hotel room, and sort out your disputes online. Everything is practically online now. Okay, so Mrs. Natalia has certifications and professional membership. She's an accredited mediator on the panel of neutrals of the Lagos State Multi-Door Courthouse. She's an online dispute resolution practitioner certified by the mediate.com, ODR Africa, and ODR Europe. She's a member of the Nigerian Bar Association. She's a member of the Nigerian Sector on Business Law. She's a member of National Association of Catholic Lawyers. She's a National Secretary of NSAS Police Brutality Legal Aid. She's a board member / secretary of the Lagos-based NGO Dignified Women of Substance. Oh goodness me! She was recently appointed as the executive director of the Landlords and Tenants Rights Initiative, a public interest law organization. Finally, Natalia is a veteran marathon runner with lots of medals to her credit. Ooh! So welcome on board. Please say your request. I am done with the introduction. Welcome on board our able, chartered, accredited mediator, Mrs. Natalia. Ooh! Send the request. All this hype that I'm giving you, I'm supposed to have sent the waiting. My son is eating everywhere.
I was actually waiting.
Yeah. You were waiting for me to be done with my introduction. Good evening, Mrs. Natalia. How was your weekend, or how's your weekend been?
The weekend has been very stressful. As a matter of fact, I was struggling to sleep. It's been back to back, one meeting or the other. So I said, okay, let me just squeeze out time. I actually slept off, and suddenly I woke up. It was 10 minutes to 9. I was like, wow, it's almost time. And I just rushed it, and that's why.
Even at that time, I was still in the kitchen. So sorry. Thank you for making our time out of your very busy schedule to be here. Even as at that time that you woke up, I was still in the kitchen. Oh God, goodness me. God will just help us. So welcome online. Welcome to Law Talk series. We're happy to have you. I don't know where my guest is. I just did not hold live section one night though. Just one Saturday, just last Saturday, and they are beginning not to come. But I know before we even get to the middle of the conversation, they will come online. I trust my followers. They will not fall my hand. So welcome online. Welcome to tonight's live section on Law Talk series. We're super happy to have you come on board. Okay, so I have done quite a number of introductions. I knew that they would start coming. Hey, they're already coming. They will not fall my hand. Okay, so we've done quite a number of introductions concerning you, and in all sincerity, even as a friend, I didn't even know that you had all of that credentials. Woo!
Thank you.
You inspire me, babe. You actually inspire me. Okay, so so outside what we have actually introduced you as, what other thing do we need to know about you?
Okay, let me start with my name. Like you said, you
I am sorry. Let me apologize before you start.
Hey, don't let my. Okay, so my name is Natalia Odidika Isezabo. Okay, like you already know, I'm a lawyer and also a mediator, and I'm a counselor. More like I counsel lots of youth, actually, what people call today teen coach. So I focus more on them because I feel they have a lot to offer to society. So my counseling services are mostly with the youth, even though I go beyond that. So also I love mediation. I love mediation, so it has been part of my life. Natalia is someone who is an extrovert. She likes talking. Talking is what I do for a living, you know. Natalia is very friendly, easygoing, but
And you
sometimes
don't
she
have
can
to
be
be now. You're a mediator. You must be friendly.
yes. Sometimes Natalia can be an indaboski pahose when the time comes for it. So like I already said, I went to the University of Benin. I grew up in Lagos, and I'm married. And what else? You've already read out all my CV, so I don't know what else to say about me.
Yeah, that's quite a lot. Thank you so much. Oh, my lightning is just falling off. Thank you so much for that. So the legal industry has so many fields. There's a lot. In fact, the field in the legal industry is quite a number, and lawyers are beginning to pick the niche. Lawyers are beginning to pinch the tent to a particular field. So we just want to know what prompts you into ADL, what prompts you into mediation, or is it that if there is so much money in mediation, tell me so that I will just cross over. Okay, so what prompted you into going into ADL, particularly mediation?
Okay, thank you very much. Some years ago, if as a law student, my dream has always been to become a judge, even up to the
Wow.
Supreme Court level. I've always wanted to be a judge and get to the Supreme Court. So when I got married, and you know how I can be as a litigation lawyer. You're preparing to discuss. Sometimes you are awake till 12 midnight, 1 a.m., 2 a.m., just trying to make sure that you're prepared for your case. And at this time around, you're not just doing it for your own side, you're doing it for both yourself and the other side because the other lawyer knows what you're likely to ask because you are trained to think in both ways. So, you know, you're up there trying to make sure that everything was perfect. So one of those days, I had a matter at the High Court, and I had gone to bed at about 1 a.m. I didn't sleep well because I got back late from work and also had to go to bed very late. So by 1 a.m., I went to bed, and by 4 or 5, I was up again to get the kids ready for school. So driving to court that morning around Maryland, you know, I dozed off. And the next thing I heard was, Goa. I had hit one man behind, you know. So the guy, and suddenly I stopped, and the man came up, Madam, what's wrong? So I said, I'm sorry, sir. I actually slept off. I dozed off. He just looked at his car, was one tear rubber, you know, and I apologized to him. He just looked at his car and said, "Be careful," and then he drove off. So I managed, I got to court. So I sat down. While in the courtroom, I dozed off again. And so the judge asked the orderly to walk me out of the courtroom.
Wow.
So the next time I saw that the police orderly came, you know, tapped me and asked me to leave. So I went outside. After a while, I just left the courtroom. And that day my principal was already in court. He had a matter, so he now stepped in to take over. So on my way back, again, around the quarter, about to enter the express, I dozed off. And I said to myself, no, this is not the kind of life I want to live.
I want to live, exactly.
Yeah. And then my husband told me to stop work, to take care of the children at that point in time. And I was like, oh, me, you know, that kind of me.
Stop work.
Asking me to stop. 1 second, let me make this brighter.
Yeah, just my light too. My light. I don't know. It's not.
Mine is brighter now, right?
Yeah, far better. Even better than mine.
So my husband asked me to stop work temporarily, and for me, I felt redundant. So one of those is that he said, because I was missing the courtroom, I said to take it through to the court, and I saw an advertisement for mediation lawyers. I mean, calling for mediators. So I said, okay, fine. I could actually go for mediation to afford me the time to spend time with the family. And that was how my journey to mediation started. And so in 2016, it started on the 30th of June. I just tendered my resignation, said I'm going to mediation. And so I went for the training, and the rest is history. And I found out that a lot of matters are being settled through mediation. So, and that kind of grew my love and interest for mediation. So I threw everything deep down into mediation. So that was how my journey to mediation started.
Wow, that's a very touching story. You see, it's and how it's funny how life is. You have always wanted to be a judge. I have never dreamt of being a judge. And so when I
haven't given up on that dream yet.
No, you definitely you can, because someday you will be. And even going to mediation is even very good, because it gives you a preamble, or it helps you build your life as a judge. So when you actually finally get to be a judge, it's easier for you to be able to settle disputes in court. Now, going back to my own desired dream, sometimes when I see my male counterparts in court, they're like, Precious, you behave like a man the way you were. I have that stamina, as in, I love going to court, I love to talk, I love to argue, I love to and it's different strokes for different people. I used to just imagine I would just sit down as a judge now. I would just sit down and I would just sit down, just be. I don't have that patience. That's just my point. I don't have that patience to say, I want to sit down and listen to side A. I know, let me just come and argue case for my clients. Okay, so that's a very good story, very interesting, very touching. Everybody has a starting point, and everybody has something that would prompt them to say, no, this is where I want to be in life. Beautiful. Okay, so what exactly for people that are non-lawyers, because I know I'm seeing some lawyers, and I know there's some non-lawyers online tonight. We're just saying mediation, and they're like, what is mediation? What exactly is mediation? So we need you to enlighten us tonight. When we say mediation, what are we talking about?
Yes, mediation is a good thing, because I've heard people confuse mediation with meditation. Meditation is where you are, meditating and all that. But mediation is a form of dispute resolution. It's one of the ways you resolve disputes, basically involving the parties and assisted by a neutral person, third party, more like, who assists the parties to resolve their dispute. And that person is known as a mediator. So in trying to resolve disputes between two people, the mediator, who is a neutral party, steps in to help them solve their dispute, resolve it amicably. However, the mediator does not, and I'll emphasize this, the mediator does not impose any sanctions. The mediator does not tell them, this is what you should do. The role of the mediator is to facilitate. Now, the role of mediator sometimes could be an evaluative, way. However, the focus is mainly on facilitation. Because it's not your matter. You're not a judge. The mediator is not a judge. So your own role is to assist the party, perhaps open their mind to the options they have. You have a dispute. This is how you are going to resolve it. So you have this option. Then maybe when parties come for have a dispute, they want to hold a stand. In mediation, we encourage parties to be open. Now, the beauty of mediation compared to litigation, which is having an arbitral system, yes, in the court system, mediation is out of court settlement. That's how I look at it. Out of court of resolving disputes, and in doing that, parties are their own lawyers. You don't need a lawyer to represent you in mediation. It doesn't mean you can't come with your lawyer. You can't come with your lawyer actually.
But it is not necessary to have a lawyer.
It's not necessary. So all those who want to have their matters resolved and ask, lawyer, their money too much. Your best option is to go through mediation. And I will tell you why mediation is very interesting and very good. In mediation, your privacy is guaranteed. There are certain things, information you don't want to give out. Now, in the courtroom, there's no privacy.
Exactly, the public.
Other lawyers are there. So let me deviate a little and give an instance of a divorce matter. Now, a lot of things happen. Let's say a man or a woman wants to tell the court how not so good in bed his spouse is. How all those dirty things that happen in marriages. Now you come out and everybody is hearing you. Like a man I knew, I was a law student then in court, and at a point I couldn't hold it anymore. I knew the man, but he didn't know I was in court. I had to step out at some point because the things I was hearing was just not comfortable. So in that kind of setting, everybody can hear your story.
Yeah, your story. Even record it.
Yes, in this social media era, before you know what's happening, your matter is already all over the place.
It's everywhere.
But the good thing about mediation is, if you are not a party,
you can't be there.
You cannot be there.
Wow.
Yes, there's a privacy, and apart from that, it saves you time. If you go to court, you and I know as lawyers who are in litigation, you will see that people spend time in court. You go today, either one of the parties did not come, you have to go, and then the matter is adjourned to a later date. You come today, adjournment. Before you get hearing notices, before your matter is heard, before you sit down and all that, 1 year is gone. They're still dragging. But in mediation, the beauty is that you can actually have your matter resolved in 1 day. My very first mediation matter, I resolved that matter within 2 hours. And today, parties were happy. So that's the beauty. Mediation is flexible. It is private. It's cost effective. You save money. Because for every time you appear in court, you pay a lawyer for his services. Let's say, for instance, you have a lawyer that says, okay, the cheapest you can get 20,000 naira appearance fee, or let's say 10,000, depending on the lawyer. So you're in court, every time you appear in court, you pay money. And then this happens. And then you must pay for appearing in court, whether he spoke or not. You must pay.
Or whether the court starts or not, you must pay because he came.
You must pay, yes. Do you understand? So for the mediation, you can come on your own. If the other party is not sure, but you always note that. You know that, okay, I always take an adjourned date, or even if the matter did not set that date, you can take another date and then come back. So that's the beauty of mediation. It's cost effective. It's the practice guarantee. It's a 50-50 win. In the court, sometimes the party takes all, another person loses entirely. But in mediation, you win some, and everybody goes home happy. That's basically.
All right. To digress a little bit, what you're saying is really valid because I actually want to weigh mediation and arbitration. Though we're not even talking about arbitration today, because I've happened to draft some legal documents. Before we always put an arbitration clause, but now what we do when we draft documents as lawyers, we put mediation first. Because of the cost, effectiveness of mediation. Arbitration is something else entirely. So we most of our drafts in the office, we put mediation clause first, And then when mediation fails, we put arbitration before courts. So that's just to tell you that mediation is a top list. A lot of lawyers are considering mediation first before arbitration, because one arbitration sitting at least from 500,000 naira, depending on the nature of the matter. Thank you so much for that. So now the question is, I have personally done mediation on divorce, separation. I've done on business disputes and all that, but I haven't personally done mediation in real estate. So that is why I'm particular about this topic. So how does mediation fit in real estate? How does mediation actually fit in when it comes to real estate disputes?
Okay, let me start by saying that, like you were trying to describe, there are documents when you have a contractual agreement, like basically the clauses for resolution of disputes, and you put mediation, you put arbitration, and the others. So basically, when you have in the contractual agreement, it's always important to specify how you want that dispute to be resolved. So come to real estate, for instance, it's always I would suggest that parties have it written down when drafting real estate agreement, saying that when there's a dispute, because dispute always arise in every human relationship, in anything we engage with, there's always conflict, but we always have a way to resolve it. So I would suggest that when parties are drafting documents or agreements, it's best that they include mediation first. Because why? It's cost effective. Now, in bringing mediation into it's twofold, or say threefold. One, you have to understand that mediation is majorly in three ways. One, there's a court-referred mediation. This one is ordered by the court. You have no choice. You must go for mediation because the court ordered it. And why would the court order it? Because the court knows that this kind of matter can be resolved through mediation. That is one. Then number two, it could be a walk-in. By walk-in, I mean parties themselves decide to walk in and say, okay, we want to have the mediation services. And then in other cases, you might find parties saying, okay, we have drafted this, direct intervention. For instance, the Lagos Multi-Door Courthouse can intervene directly in matters between parties. So most times you have either the court-referred one or parties working in the system. Okay, we want to use mediation because one, it's cheaper for them, it's cost-effective, and it saves time as well. So coming to real estate now, parties can opt for mediation services either in their contracts. So by that, once that happens, you can go mediation. Either they use there are so many mediation centers. Like in Lagos, they have the Citizen Mediation Center, CMC. So that's handled by the Lagos State. Parties can decide, okay, we have this dispute, let's go there, they'll solve it for us. Or they go to the Lagos Multi-Door Courthouse and say, okay, we want to go using mediation services. Can you step in and help us? So there are forms to be bought in a few points of the process, file your processes, and then a mediator is assigned. And that way, the matter is looked upon. Let me quickly say that as much as mediation can be used to resolve this real estate disputes, when the matter in question borders on declaration of title, declaration of title, it's a courtesy. Because like I said at the beginning, that the mediator cannot impose any sanctions. The mediator cannot give any order, cannot give any award. It would have been a different thing if they are going through arbitration. Now the actor that has similar powers with Judge Joe can do that. But the mediator is there to facilitate between the parties and help them look at options. So if what the parties are seeking mainly, that their major issue is declaration of title to land, that will be resolved by the court of law, because the mediator has not been empowered to give such orders. So for the other issues arising would come to mediation. And I want to quickly state again that when we talk about real estate, it's a broad industry. It's not limited to just buying of properties, landed properties, like all these properties are being sold at Ibejuleki, or you're buying buying properties or buying lands. It goes beyond that. It goes to property management. Because now, for instance, you are a property manager, just like I am a property manager. So there are real estate owners on that too. Landlord and tenants matter. So it's a broad industry. So that, like yesterday, we had a seminar, a public enlightenment seminar by the Landlords and Tenants Rights Initiative, and we talked about property maintenance. Whose right is it? The landlord or the tenant?
Or the tenant.
In that consultation, if they come for mediation, you know, like I said, mediator is a facilitator, and in some cases, mediator can become an evaluator using the evaluation style of mediation.
Depending on how the matter is.
Yes. So what we do there is what we call the reality checks. It's not for the mediator to tell you this is what you should do, this is what you are right here, you are wrong here. But there's a reality check. Like, okay, have you considered this? Realistic. You are living in a house where the landlord is not there, and your water system, the toilets got spoiled. Why don't you?
So you're waiting for your landlord
to come and fix it. Oh, pay your money. Why you there? You understand? So if you are going to use the toilet, you should fix it. You don't have to flush and everywhere is littered and your house is smelling. So that kind of thing, when they come for mediation, as a mediator, my duty is to open their eyes and say, okay, look at it from this side. Put yourself
Put yourself in this person's shoes.
Exactly, yes. So that's the basic.
All right. Thank you. You know, what you just said about tenants and landlord just made me laugh, because I had a meeting today in the compound where we manage, and it was everybody was just shouting. They expect the landlord to come and do this, landlord to come and I was just looking at them like this. So it's funny, but you said something that is very important, and it just dawned on me that while I'm doing a contract of sale, I can actually put mediation clause there when it is not a deed of assignment. You know, I've never done it, but it just occurred to me that really, because there are times that issues arise even after a contract of sale. There are issues of I can't meet up the payment, the timeline, the deadline, or there are other issues like maybe you did not even know there are tenants there or something. There are tenants. Okay, I don't want you to hand over tenants to me. So I'm just thinking loud that, oh, really? When you talked about real estate, I was like, oh, really? But it's actually possible that when one is doing a contract of sale, can put a mediation clause in case there are issues arise, can actually try to settle it with mediation, and that's a very good one. So we go to the next question. What exactly is the place of mediation in property disputes? I think you have actually talked about that. The place, or you want to talk about it a little bit more.
So, sorry, I didn't get your question.
Yeah, I think the second question is, what exactly is the place of mediation in property disputes? But I'm saying that you have actually talked about it a little bit.
Yeah.
Yes, in your previous response. So we just move to the next one. Now, how can mediation be used to settle property disputes? Now, I'm just saying this. Now, let me give a life scenario, so that people that are listening can relate. Like I said, I was supposed to have a meeting at a particular place in Lagos here. I don't want to be specific. Now, I'm giving a typical scenario, and let us see how mediation can fit into this. Somebody approached me. The mom bought a piece of land way back, didn't disclose to them, the children, until very recently when she felt, oh, I have a piece of land somewhere. If something happens to me, these children would not even know that I bought something down for them. Okay, so when I came into the matter, they were like, the person that they bought from they've been trying to get the person to, oh, I need my land, I need documentation. It's almost 5 years now. So I have been trying to schedule meetings to see how we can resolve. I asked the woman, do you have a receipt? Do you have this? Nothing. She paid the money in cash at different time. No receipts, no nothing. And today it was a different thing entirely. They were even thinking of bringing pleas into it. I said, no, let me talk to the woman for that. So in that kind of scenario, how does mediation fit in? I bought the land from you. I don't have a receipt. I don't have anything. And you're telling me stories. And I feel the best thing for me to just go to court. or just use police to arrest you for obtaining by pretense or fraudulent act. So how does mediation fit into this kind of scenario? Because it happens almost on daily basis.
Okay, if I get your question correctly, you're asking someone who's buying a land but didn't have any form of documentation,
Nothing.
and then the land was taken from the person, or is it like the person
The,
was trying to
the
sell
person
the land?
hasn't even seen the land. He bought the land out of trust. Oh, we have a family
Oh,
property.
wow.
So she paid
Okay,
at
that's
different intervals. At three, she made three deposit at three different times. So she paid cash. So there is no documentation. She hasn't even seen the land. So we were supposed to go there today to actually let us see what she has bought. And the woman was just doing hanky panky, and we didn't get to. So how does mediation fit into that kind of scenario? Because it happens almost on a daily basis.
that's a serious one, because I'm trying to see. I'm actually trying to wrap my head to see how mediation will fit in there.
Exactly.
Yeah, because one, there's no form of documentation. Like you said, she paid cash. Had it been she made transfer using the bank, transfer through the bank, and then in the remarks section she wrote for the purchase of land. That would
Even
have
if
been
she did not
fine.
write anything, but she made a transfer. You
You
understand?
said she
Yeah.
made
No, I said even if she did not even write anything in the description, but she had paid money, at least she will
yeah,
come and explain to people what was the
exactly.
money.
So in this kind of thing now, if you are coming to mediation, like of course you file processes normally, but if you are coming to mediation, the mediator is working with the processes between the parties. That's what the issue is. So now there's no documentation. There's nothing to show, not even a transfer, and no receipt after payment. What are we going to be mediating? Now when they come, yeah, we're asking what are we going to be mediating, because you're going to be looking at documents and be able to ask your question. But here we don't have any. And even if they go to the court of law, the court will ask for documents, because our law says he who has that must what? Prove. So if you allege something, you must establish that thing you are alleging.
Exactly.
I bought a land. So where is the evidence to show that you bought a land? You must produce the receipts, the documentation, even if you don't have, or at least have something. But in this case now, they don't have. So
Nothing
if they come for mediation, for instance, it's not for the other party to admit that,
that I
okay,
collected.
yes. So once the other party is able to admit that I collected money, although I couldn't get the land, that's enough for mediation to work. So on that ground, why doing reality checks with the party? You can actually tell the party, you know, on moral grounds, you took money from someone, put yourself in the person's situation. What would you do if you bought the land, paid for it out of trust for you, and you didn't get to see your land, you didn't see your money, no documentation? How would you feel? So in that kind of situation, you're more or less like appealing to the moral consciousness of that person, having admitted. Otherwise, if the person is denying it, or yours is the case, there's nothing mediation can do in this case, because there's nothing to mediate actually in that sense. I want to point out again that when we talk about mediation, one interesting thing about mediation that can even amount to its disadvantage in a way is that mediation, there's no compulsion. In the sense that the party to a mediation must willingly submit to,
To eat. Wow.
and this is because mediation is a voluntary process. Don't
Agreement.
forget, I said it's party driven. So it's a voluntary process that must, the party in question must submit themselves. So if the party does not submit, then nothing can happen. However, if it's a court-ordered mediation, that party must attend. Otherwise, there's a sanction that will be imposed by the ADR judge or the referring judge. So if it's a court-ordered mediation, that party must submit. Otherwise, as a mediator, I will make my report through the LMDC and say, look at what happened. This party refused to attend mediation sessions. What can you do? And the beauty of it now is that you don't even have to say, oh, I was stuck in traffic and all that. All the online resolution mediation sessions is basically one of the beauties of the pandemic. So to say, you understand? So since the pandemic started, I have been sitting here in my house, in fact, in this particular room, mediating between parties. And I've been settling a lot of matters. And it's a wonderful thing that people actually submit themselves to mediation and they can sit at the comfort. When you compare the fact that I have to go all the way.
Wow, yeah.
You see, so that's it about it. Mediation can go in every area of life, except that's it.
All right. So basically now that brings me to the next question. Has there been any real estate dispute issue that has gone through mediation successfully, that parties got to settle and they didn't have to go to court at the end of the day?
Oh yes.
Oh, beautiful.
They have been, yes. But
All right.
one of the things that made it easier is the fact that when parties come, especially parties who are just coming for the first time, a lot of people say because mediation, they think it's a court thing. And that's why as mediators, we don't dress in that wig and gown.
Yeah.
We take it off. So we dress, I can be like this, corporately dressed, or even traditional wears, and mediate between parties. And the purpose is that they're to make parties feel relaxed. So as a mediator, if parties coming for the first time, it's your duty as a mediator to explain to them what the process is all about. And one of the uniqueness of mediation is flexibility. You have to prepare the minds of the parties that though you are holding this stand, you have to be open to other options. Because if you say, I want it my way, that's usually the way it's done in litigation. But in mediation, you are encouraged to be flexible, have an open mind, look at other options. Don't just stand on your own and say it's my way or never.
My way.
Once you start in that manner, you can move forward, and the whole purpose of mediation is defeated. So, and for the matters I've always mediated, the parties have been very cooperative. Although sometimes it's quite difficult when you find parties, like you're saying, you're trying to teach them, parties are shouting, making us and all that. And this is how I go. I just keep quiet. I allow them shout. And when they are done, I ask, are you done? Or in some cases where it's heated, I just separate the parties and move them into private session. They cause a purpose meeting or session. That way, I take the parties away and try to speak to them. Okay, what do you think is the problem? Why can't you try and see this? And in mediation, we seek to say, beyond your disputes, look at the future relationship. Wouldn't you prefer to mend your relationship, especially when you've come a long way? You never can tell what tomorrow holds. So we try to mend relationship just beyond resolving disputes. We also focus on mending relationships between parties. So there have been instances that matters have been resolved. I have been able to resolve some real estate matters based on using mediation service. So it's all about the open-mindedness. We have some very difficult lawyers who come with their parties and make others difficult. Why you have other lawyers who are very open and then they direct their parties, try and do this and all that. And you have other people who are just peacemakers, just one piece. Sometimes they let go of some things. You know what? Just do and go. Let me just have my peace. That's it. So it all depends on each of the parties and each situation. Yeah.
All right. Wow. Thank you so much. Thanks. So though you have actually talked about it a little bit, but I want some people are just getting to join. So I want you to be a little bit emphatic about it. What are the advantages of using mediation to solve property disputes over litigation? And for our audience, when we say litigation, we mean lawsuit, taking somebody to court, or you being sued or being taken to court. So what are the advantages that mediation has over litigation or lawsuit?
There are numerous. And when it comes to that, I like to do shakara. I have tested litigation and I've tested mediation, and I'll tell you over and over again that I would always opt for mediation, because trust me, it's time saving. Save your time. I told you my very first case that I actually mediated and resolved that matter between parties in just 2 hours. And that's because the parties have a flexible mind. So it made it easier. So within 2 hours, I was done. I've had instances where I had to mediate matter. So, let me give you an instance now. Lagos, Lagos State government, before the pandemic, I think it's about 3 to 4 times in a year, organizes the settlement week, the Lagos settlement week, where parties come and have their matters resolved, free of charge, so to say.
Free.
Yes. So what is encourage parties, those who feel they don't have money and all that, come use that period to settle your matter. And I can tell you, there was a day, in Lagos County, there was a particular year, I think it was 3 years ago, we settled over 800 cases within 1 week.
800.
I honestly, even me, I was amazed. And I'm so proud because I had about 6 matters that I resolved during that period, because I had a lot of mediators that period who came in, and then after there were some spillovers and were given. But I know during that window time, I settled about 6 cases. So I'm proud to say that particular year I was one of those who settled. And then after the window period of that 1 week, we continued with the other matters, and that brought the total to that particular year 800. It was a wow, and that was what gave rise to this. So even in the subsequent years that came, there were a lot constantly matters are being resolved. Even during this online, a lot of matters. So it's time saving, it's cost effective, you save money. If you go to court, trust me, you will spend money, and all you keep getting most times is adjournment.
800 cases, if it's, sorry to interject, 800 cases, if you are to file 800 cases, some of them will not even get dates in the next 2-3 years.
Yes, and you know why? Because the judges, the magistrates, they are overwhelmed. They are overwhelmed. You find you have a magistrate or a judge who's supposed to sit on a matter. Let's say 50 cases assigned to that judge in 1 week, or rather in 1 week, and people are supposed to come here and all that. That magistrate, that judge, is a human being too. And don't forget that they are also making their research about the submissions and
exactly.
by parties. So it's consuming. And I'm beginning to wonder, am I sure I still want to be a judge?
In fact, you read my mind. You read my mind. I was like, in my mind, I was like, why don't you just stick to this mediation? Because
exactly
1,500 cases to handle in a week, like seriously, and you also have a family, you have other things to do, because some of these judges, they have other things they're doing. I know some judges, I know a particular judge, Federal High Court, he's also a professor. So, I mean, he's not going to be just...
And don't forget again that we have holidays in between.
Exactly, that which is even knocking already.
So, at the end of the year, in a year, if you put the total number of times that the judges sit in a year, it's not even up to 3 months put together, and they have a lot of cases. So it's overwhelming. I dare to say that a lot of matters are being resolved through mediation, and that's why it's becoming very popular. Mediation revolution time. So mediation is cost effective. It saves time. It is flexible, and it is party driven. By party driven, I mean is the process of the parties. You don't need a lawyer, except you want your lawyers to be there, fine. Otherwise, and then more importantly, 2 things: it's flexible. You can work around it with your time, especially now that we have online dispute resolution. You don't have to come to court. You can sit in your home. You can sit in your shop and do what? And have your matters resolved. And the bedrock of all of them, the baba of why mediation, is still the best preferred means of resolving dispute, is the fact of confidentiality.
Very important.
Yes, as a mediator, none of the parties can call me to come and be a witness in the court of law.
No matter the circumstance.
Because in mediation, there is in mediation. Mr. A cannot come and cannot sue Mr. B based on things discussed within mediation. No. And that is why before we commence the process, everybody signs confidentiality form. Whatever we discuss here remains here.
Wow.
You can't take it out. You can't sue anybody on it. You can't drag anybody on it. And like I said, it's a private setting. If you are not a party or the mediator, you cannot meet that matter. So that is it. I will say it here, go for mediation. If you are drafting a contract, please include mediation in that place. The reason is this: it is cheaper for you. If it fails, you might try other means. It's not as if mediation succeeds 100%. So if I have 100 cases, you might resolve 80 of the cases. The remaining 20, what happens? If it doesn't work out, yes. So the emphasis is amicable resolution. Amicable resolution, where parties resolve their matters amicably. That's it basically. So
yeah, thank you so much for that. We're almost running off so that people can get to ask questions. So you've talked about what mediation is, the advantages of mediation, how mediation fits into real estate or property dispute. Now, the second to the last question is, what are the steps to be taken to start a mediation process? Because we're saying it now, and you and I, we're actually understanding each other, but some people are watching now and they're like, okay, this mediation thing sounds good, sounds great. Even if I don't have a real estate issue, I have another issue that could be resolved through mediation. Now, how can someone start a mediation process? That, oh, I want to do mediation. How can the person start?
Okay. Like I said before, we have basically 3 ways you can come to mediation. I said court prepared, walk-in, or direct intervention. Now, for the court referred mediation, it means you would have taken your matter to court, and if the judge looks at and say this matter should not be here, go for mediation. So that one is straightforward. And the other one is when you decide on your own, you go through mediation services. So you walk in any of the ADR centers. It could be the Lagos Multi-Door Courthouse, where I'm a member of the panel of neutrals, or you go to the Citizen Mediation Center. They are all over the place in Lagos State. Or you might try other private mediation. There are also private mediation centers or mediation services. For instance, I'll come to that. So what you do if you want a walk-in, you prepare the processes. There are forms you fill. You go to, for instance, the Lagos Multi-Door Courthouse. You go there to say, okay, I want to have mediation, process. I want my matter to be settled through mediation. So they give you documents to fill, and then you pay the fee. Minimum is 10,000 naira. I'm not sure they have increased it. It's still that because it's supposed to encourage people to come for, So then you file your process. And once you file your process, the other person is also informed, and then a date is set aside. Before the date is set aside, you are, taking through the whole process, how it works, what you have to expect, and all that. It's called a mediation. I'm looking for the word now. Meeting. When I say meeting with the parties. So the parties are met, and they discuss. After the discussion, the date is set. The mediator is appointed, and then the mediator comes and sits to hear the matter. So if you want, yes.
So basically, anybody has an issue can just walk into the mediation center and say, I have an issue and I want it to resolve, even without contacting a lawyer. Wow,
you don't know the lawyer for that. Now, I want to mention something about mediation advocates. And these are not just law now, these are lawyers or maybe non-lawyers who represent parties in mediation. They're called mediation advocates. They are different from a mediator. A mediator is appointed to help you resolve your matters.
Oh, okay.
But a mediation advocate
comes with you.
Yes, goes with you, represents you in a mediation matter. So the beauty is that you don't have to be a lawyer to be a mediator.
Mediator, wow.
You don't have to be a lawyer, yes. As a lawyer, you can be a mediator. As an engineer, a mechanic, roadside mechanic.
As long as you've gone through the training, wow.
Yeah, just go through the training and then you understand the whole thing. You go through mentorship, and then you are approved, and then you start mediating.
You just talked about mentorship now. Maybe I'll just come and be your mentee.
Yes. So you can be a what's it called? So, but you have to go through a formal training before you can be my mentee. So
Yeah.
if I want to be a mediator, I can stand in as a mediation advocate. It's even cheaper getting a mediation advocate to represent you in mediation as going to court. So if you contract me to represent you in mediation, I mean, your fee is as good as nothing. You're paying nothing more or less. You understand? Unlike when you tell me to go and represent you in the court of law, I will charge you. So if I'm going to charge you, say, 100,000 naira to represent you in the court of law, I may not even charge you up to that in mediation. And that is it. I will do as you say and all that, basically. So that's the beauty of it all, you know?
Wow. It is very, I just hope our audience they're picking something, because even I've learned so much tonight. So in what way can disputants assess mediation mechanism? We've actually talked about it. So finally, what would be your advice to property disputants with respect to using mediation when it comes to, oh, I have an issue with a property that I bought, I have an issue with my landlord, I have an issue with my tenant, I have an issue with an estate developer, anything real estate? What would be your advice to somebody that has a dispute with somebody else in respect of mediation and real estate disputes?
So my first advice would be to that person, before you even get involved in any relationship, real estate relationship with anybody, make sure you have your agreement. Don't do things on trust. Human beings can't be trusted.
Especially with money.
This is a period where people are scamming people. Make sure you get a written agreement, a formal agreement. At this point, I want to tell all those people who will not want to pay lawyers to draft agreements.
Thank you.
They'll go and draft one kind
They will download itself
when
and put
Katala
their name.
boss, you remember a lawyer, or you just draft something and say, please help me vet it or look at it and all that. You must pay that lawyer. I will say it again. Pay that lawyer to help you go through it. If somebody has drafted a document for you, especially as it concerns real estate, make sure before you append your signatures, you get a lawyer to vet it for you. So, and then make sure that in that agreement, you include that when disputes arise, you should offer mediation. If it's possible, go for only mediation, and then state that in case it doesn't work out, you can explore other means. Don't go and start putting arbitration, because you're going to pay, like Precious already said, the minimum you can get an arbitration for is 500 naira.
That's the minimum, depending on the matter. Some 5 million, some 3.
Yes, that's the cheapest you can get. That means that person just starting as an arbitrator.
Just started, exactly.
Yes, or just trying to be overly kind. You pay as high as 2 million, 3 million to get an arbitrator. So you can imagine how very cheap it is for you to get a mediator to sit in your matter if it's private mediation or you went for a court referred. So it's best, or even sometimes you don't even have to even go to the courts to do that. That private mediators who can help you resolve your matters, and they don't charge much.
Even in their office?
Yes, in their office. For instance, now, let me market myself too. In my office, I help people resolve their matters, and I'm not an arbitrator. I love mediation. Arbitration is lovely, but I don't see myself becoming an arbitrator. Maybe I don't.
But some lawyers are both, and I think I like the idea.
Yes, they are both, because again, it gives you the expertise as well. As a lawyer, that's one advantage lawyers have over non-lawyer mediators. Their expertise. As a lawyer now, I have a broad knowledge about areas of law, and the ones where I'm not so, I can research well, get all the and get everything ready. So I know where to draw the line from from facts and fiction and all that. So non-lawyers may be stuck in between. I've had to go and help to step in to assist a non-lawyer mediator to resolve the matter, because it got to a point. And that's why in LMD, for instance, before a mediator is appointed, you look at your expertise, your field, and appoint accordingly. So there's no point getting someone who's not an expert in a particular field and putting them, you understand? Because that's the beauty of it as well, and that's also the beauty of arbitration. But it's so cool because of the cost involved as well at the time. So basically, I would tell them, make sure you have an agreement that states that you have mediation, and where that is absent, you can walk in. Either walk into the centers and tell them you want to have mediation centers. Then have an open mind. Have an open mind that beyond your dispute, you want to maintain that relationship. And even if you don't want to maintain the relationship, but at least have it resolved amicably. Because sometimes these real estate people, they have a way of communicating with their person. This one is a trouble. Some person, don't allow this person to come into your property, or don't sell this person. You always end up in yeah. They have some very
small world.
You understand? So,
I said it's a small world. Basically. All right. Thank you so much. It's been a very informative night. In fact, I was actually looking at the time because we agreed that 15 minutes is the time, but I was actually enjoying the conversation. Thank you so much for coming tonight. I appreciate the way you have actually testified real estate mediation and the place of how you can actually amicably resolve not just real estate issues using mediation, but even any issue at all.
Yeah.
Thank you for the advice that actually said you want to do mediation, have documentary evidence of whatever transaction that you had or relationship that you had with somebody. Okay, guys, that's all for tonight. Who has a question? I haven't seen anybody drop a question or comment. Okay, I'm just seeing greetings here. So obviously they do not have questions. That makes my work a little bit easier tonight. Okay, so there are no people are just waving. All right, so if you have further question on mediation, you want to get a mediator, you want to go through the process of mediation, you have a landlord tenancy issue, you have a real estate issue, dispute, whatever issue, you can just simply send a direct message to Nat_mediates. She's on Instagram as Nat_mediates. Send her a direct message, chat her up, or you chat me up, either way, and then we get the ball rolling. Okay, so if that will be all, thank you, Mrs. Natalia, for coming. I really appreciate you. You can bet on it that I'm still going to invite you to talk about another aspect of mediation. Thank you so much for tonight. I really appreciate you, and it's a good night. Okay, her screen is already on first. Okay, guys, thank you for coming online tonight. Thank you for being a part of this show. Do not forget, 9 o'clock next week, Thursday, we have another guest coming online, and it's going to be a very interesting topic. Watch out on my page where I'm going to be posting the next topic and our guest. And if you're not following my second Instagram page, propertylawyer.ng, follow it ASAP. A lot of fans, a lot of followers have said this page is actually for business and legal structure, so they get a little bit confused when they're trying to check a particular post that I've posted. I talked about one aspect of property or the other, and they get a little bit confused. They try to screw. They're seeing business law here, they're seeing real estate here, so they get a little bit confused. So they said, babe, please do us another page, dedicate that page for real estate and property issues, landlord and tenancy. And so I have at her. You guys have commanded me, and I have obeyed. After all, I'm here to serve you guys and make your life better, make your business better, make your real estate transactions simpler, easier, and better. So if you want tips, hints, and legal insights on how to invest wisely in real estate, avoid costly legal mistakes, have peace of mind and a high return on investment, solve your landlord and tenancy matter, solve your estate developers issues, whatever issues, real estate investment tips, real estate investment ideas. Please follow my second page on at propertylawyer.ng, while this one is solely dedicated to business and legal structure. That will be all from me tonight. Thank you so much. Our guest is coming back. I think it was network that actually made her to leave. Okay, so I think it was network that actually network was fluctuating. Okay, so I'm actually rounding up. I've told them to send you a DM. If they have a question, they can send you a DM. Thank you so much, guys, for coming. See you next week, Saturday. From me tonight is a good night. God bless you. Thank you, Mrs. Natalia, for coming. Good night, everyone. Bye.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you at some point again.
Yeah. I saw it. So it's network. That's just how it